Hi everyone. So I'm really late with this video right here. I meant to do it like an entire week ago, but since I saw Side Effects on Friday, the 8th, I have been trying to figure out exactly what to say about in the video, because there was a lot that I wanted to say but really couldn't. So I've decided to do two videos instead. This video is a spoiler-free review, and it'll cover just the basics of the premise and what I thought of it. And then in the link below you'll see a link to an unlisted video which is full of spoilers and talks all about... basically I'm making this video for people, the second video, for people who have already seen the movie. For example, Anthony Pelligrino. He's someone who I subscribed to pretty recently, and he did a review of Side Effects, and he's like, has anyone else seen this movie? I want to talk about it, and I can't talk about it with people who I don't know if they've seen the movie or not. So, yes, I've seen the movie, and I would like to talk about it. Anthony's link is below as well. In fact, maybe I'll just do this as a video response to his review. I don't know. So Side Effects, of course, is directed by Steven Soderbergh, whom I am very much fond of. I did a whole series of videos on his films in 2011. And I did also mention Haywire in another review when that movie came out. And though I saw Magic Mike, I didn't do a review of it, but I generally liked it. I had some issues with it, but generally it was okay. Not really fond of the male stripper movie genre myself, but if somebody like him, Soderbergh, is making a movie about male strippers, I'll go and see it. You know, I'll give it a shot because I'm you know, I like the guy behind the camera. So Side Effects actually was originally called The Bitter Pill when it was being made. But you know, any sort of change to the title is relatively insignificant, I'd say. Side Effects might be a better title, more appropriate, but it's also more generic as far as I can tell. Let's see who's in this movie. Rooney Mara, who of course played Lisbeth Salander in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and Mark Zuckerberg's ex-girlfriend in Social Network, of course, two David Fincher films. She is a woman who has been waiting for her husband to get out of prison. He went inside for insider trading. He was a stock trader. And he pulled some scam of some kind, you know, to make more money. And he went to prison for it for a while, and she's been having a hard time of it since then. But he's about to get out, and so she's anticipating that greatly. Channing Tatum, who of course appeared in both Magic Mike and Haywire, two previous Soderbergh films, plays her husband. Jude Law, who appeared in Contagion previously, plays her therapist, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, who was in Traffic and Ocean's 12, plays her former therapist. So as she's experiencing some difficulty sort of getting ready, and she's feeling anxious, and she has periods of depression, so she's been trying different medications, and there's this new drug called Oblixa, which she tries and seems to be helped by. But that's not until after she meets Jude Law's character. She has an episode where she drives her car straight into the wall of a parking garage, and after that she meets him, and you know, and he starts treating her, and she has therapy sessions with him, and he prescribes Oblixa for her, and she tries it, and her mood seems to improve a great deal. But then something really bad happens. She has the side effect basically of sleepwalking. She'll have her eyes open, she'll be walking around, and her common thing when sleepwalking is to arrange a table of three place settings, you know, a dinner table of three place settings, while unconscious, basically. But it's during one of those episodes she does something very, very bad, which I'm not going to get into. And so the blame for this tends to fall on her doctor, the Jude Law character, and whether or not he should have prescribed this medication, whether or not he did everything that he was supposed to, and he followed the most appropriate procedure, and maybe if he behaved differently, you know, since he was attracted to her, or she's attractive, whatever, you know, and so he's kind of a, he kind of, you know, has sort of the brunt of the pressure placed on him, even though, you know, the Rooney Mara character is basically in prison right now, waiting for someone to figure out exactly what to do with her and who to blame for all this, where the fault lies. Anthony said that this was interesting to him that Rooney Mara starts out as the main character, but then Jude Law becomes the main character basically for the rest of the picture. He hadn't seen that before, but actually there's one other movie, one very prominent movie that I can think of that does that, and that is Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs has an ensemble cast, but the main focus of the character really is Harvey Keitel's character. He's interacting with a lot of other guys, but it's primarily about him. But then Tim Roth's character becomes the main character for sort of like the last half hour of the picture. So yeah, I like this movie. I hope that if it's still playing near you, that you get a chance to see it. It's a good one. I was reminded of another film very closely. After the movie was over, I thought to myself, this really seemed familiar. What is it like? And then I remembered that it's very similar to a Nicole Kidman movie that came out in the 90s, which I won't tell you which one it is, in case you've seen it. If I were to mention the title, you'd probably go, oh, so that means there's, these particular things that happen. I'm not going to get into that. I'll get into that if you've seen the movie, and I'll link it below, for that spoiler-filled video. But I really enjoyed this movie a lot. And Soderbergh has talked about how he's going to be stopping to make movies. He's not going to be making them anymore. He's got one more feature coming out, but it's not going to be in the theaters. It's going to be on HBO. It's called Behind the Candelabra with Michael Douglas and Matt Damon. But he has said in interviews that he's not really sure what else to bring to the table as far as innovations in feature filmmaking. And he's talking about retirement. The word retirement has been used, but personally I think he'll be making movies again at some point. He may need a break. He may need to recharge his batteries, creatively speaking. But I'm sure that he'll be back for more filmmaking because he's very good at it, and it's very rewarding. I think a lot of people will be encouraging him not to just abandon filmmaking for the rest of his life. He wants to do different things, and that's fine. He had a bad experience while he was making The Underneath, which came out in the mid-90s. It's a Peter Gallagher thriller, and so he went home and he made a tiny little low-budget movie on 16mm and cast himself and his wife as several of the main characters, that was called Schizopolis. And so he really sort of recharged himself, and then he came back with Out of Sight and The Limey and Aaron Brockovich and Traffic and Ocean's 11, and just kind of took off from there, his career just, caught fire after that. So he's had the peak of his career already as far as the initial peak goes. I mean, he's had hit movies since then. Contagion was successful, Magic Mike was successful, and he's had low-profile movies, and he's had movies that haven't done so well. But I think that he just needs to take a break and sort of just clear his head and try something different, and he'll get back into making films eventually. That's my opinion on the matter. He just can't stop making movies altogether. I mean, he can, but no one wants him to, and I think eventually he's going to start wanting to make films again, maybe in a different manner. I don't know. He's changed his style a lot over the years. He's all about digital shooting now, and economical productions and what have you, rather than these big elaborate monster productions that he's occasionally been in charge of, like Ocean's 13 and what have you. And Solaris is a pretty big movie and didn't do so well. If this is his last movie that gets released theatrically, it's a good one to go out on, Not my favorite Soderbergh movie, but still good, real good, and fun too. It's got some great moments in it. So, if you've seen the movie and want to hear more about what I thought about specific things that happened in it that I don't want to talk about here, link to that unlisted video below so you can check that out. Thanks very much for watching. See you again soon. Oh, one more thing. I've got a contest going on right now, so please, check that out as well. I'll be accepting entries for at least a whole another week, at least for the first part, But there's two parts to it, so there's another part after it. You'll see it. Just watch the video and I'll explain everything. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.